Stein, today a district in Krems, begins our journey through the Wachau. This old settlement area is one of the most outstandingly preserved historic street ensembles in Austria. Today, its building facades and entrances are decorated in the traditional way and show off the town's splendid Renaissance and medieval buildings. Sacred monuments recall the victory of Catholicism over Protestantism. Plus old churches. And medieval fountains and buildings are located on the cliff above Stein's rooftops. The route leads to Krems past the Cartoon Museum. Krems can be entered from the west through the Steiner Gate. The old main street continues to indicate the former wealth of the locale and has now been converted into a pedestrian zone. Middle-class dwellings of different building periods, cobblestone streets, lanterns and fountains evoke pure nostalgia. The Jesuits defeated the Protestants and were later replaced by the Piarists. Animated history on the trade route between West and East. Up the Danube to Dürnstein. A castle ruin guards this medieval town, where narrow streets and a renovated Chorherrenstift monastery of the Augustins attracts many visitors. Here, Provost Hieronymus Ubelbacher realized his ideas. He acted as a Baroque prince and had great artists working for him. A narrow staircase leads down into a vaulted chapel and adjoining vault room. Dürnstein was a desirable settlement area and provided good protection. The Danube is romantic, but sometimes floods. In the middle of the 11th century, the Könrings became the lords of Dürnstein and fortified the settlement. They built a castle with a fine view, downriver to a toll station. In Roman times, vines were cultivated in this picturesque area due to the region's ideal growing conditions. Weissenkirchen has always been a wine-growing centre. The small town has a long and militant history. With its dominant church, old buildings and courtyards, it has the appearance of a splendid medieval town. More than 76 steps lead up a staircase to a weir system and church. In 1531, the local inhabitants erected this complex to protect them from the invading Turks. It withstood all of the hostilities. Further upriver on the same bank lies the small village of St. Michael that is still protected by a fortified church. Mentioned for the first time in 987 AD, this was the starting point for the Christianization of the Danube Valley. From the 9th century to 1504, Spitz was a Bavarian enclave located on the Danube that was owned by the Niederaltaich monastery and various counts. The church, consecrated to St. Mauritius, dates back to late times. Its interior highlights the sacred splendor of the 17th and 18th centuries. Altars with putti and saints, and paintings by Krems and Melk. Spitz is picturesquely embedded within its surrounding vineyards, and the legendary Thousand Bucket Mountain is an imposing sight. It was not only due to its wine, but also the trading of both wood and salt that Spitz attained an important position. The Wachau is the most famous stretch of the Danube in Austria. The 700-year-old ruins of Stein overlook the Danube Valley. This was once the domain of the robber knights of the Kuenrings. They placed chains across the Danube in order to waylay passing ships prior to plundering them. Melk, situated on a steep rock above the Danube, both nature and architecture unite as one. A monastic rock, a remarkable Benedictine monastery. Until the end of the 11th century, a simple castle of the House of the Babenbergs was situated here. The Emperor Wing is reached by the Emperor's staircase, which is intended for the accommodation of the court, and in which are exhibited a number of famous treasures of monastic art. Next, the Marble Hall was used as a dining room and for celebrations, with frescoes and marble walls. The village benefits from both a spiritual and a cultural centre. A spiral staircase leads down into a church, the heart of the monastery. Frescoes and altarpieces depict Holy Benedict, and sarcophagi with saints decorate the side altars. Jakob Prantauer built this gigantic Baroque bulwark of faith. The world-famous and highly detailed God's Fortress is of the most precious Baroque. Over time, both secular and monastic life were augmented here. Since the year 2000, the Wachau has been a world cultural region, a gem on the long route of the Danube.